Hello, everybody. You can keep eating your dessert, but I'm going to start the meeting. The minutes should be on your table. So if you want to take a look at the minutes from April's branch meeting, please do now, because I'm going to ask that we accept them with any corrections, if there are any corrections. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Nerney, do you have anything to say about the minutes? Nope. They're good. Nerney is our secretary, and because all of these meetings get recorded, I think she takes her minutes from the recording. All right, if there are no questions or corrections, I'm going to accept the minutes as presented. Okay, and then we also have March's financials. We're always at least a month behind on the financials. So Ellen, where is Ellen? Do you have anything that you want to say about the financials? Right, if you have any questions, Ellen Weiss is our treasurer, and you can ask her. Okay, if there are no corrections or comments on the financials, then those will also be accepted as presented. And if there are any questions or anything that needs to be corrected, we will do so before we file it. Okay, that's good. That went fast. Okay, Trish. You get to announce the birthdays and introduce the guests.
Make it all fun.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm so happy to see all your smiling faces tonight. Glad you're here with us. I'd like to note that we have the Nancy Yala Memorial Scholarship folks here, and if you guys could stand when I call your name, Laura Cotter, Cynthia De Los Santos, and Samantha Mcvay. Welcome. And Laura, your mother is here, yes? Cynthia, thank you. Excellent. So we also have our winner of the speech trip contest, and she's, oh, here she comes. I wanted her, since she's the speech person, to introduce her family to us all. And her coach is back getting a brownie. We'll introduce him when he comes back. But Brianna Tan, go ahead and stand, honey. She is our winner from the speech track. And Brianna, if you would introduce your family, I would appreciate it. Oh, and David, you should come up here too. We were going to introduce you. This is her speech coach, David Silva. So, thank you. And we have a couple of people who brought guests. Nernie brought a guest. I'll let her introduce.
My dear friend Charlotte Lucy, she's retired registrar from the University of Redlands. I've known her since I was ish, big with her kids, and she is a member of the Riverside branch as well. But she's moving back. She has moved back to Redlands after raising her family here, and I'm doing that.
Excellent. And Marie Mitchell also has a guest she'd like to introduce.
And some of you may know her because her family is themselves, and themselves has been very generous to all the philanthropy in Redlands. So happy to be here.
Thank you and welcome, Esther. We have some birthdays, and we should probably get you to stand up too, so we can sing. Susan Bangesser. Stand up, it's your birthday. And Catherine Brown and Teresa Lance. And last but not least, Hester Turpin. Is there an Evelyn O'Cray? Yay. Is there anybody I missed? That would be terrible. So we do have to sing. That's important. And it's important that you sing. Okay, all right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear ladies. Happy birthday to you. Yay. Pardon? There is something on the back table for you, you birthday people. So don't forget to miss that, or don't miss that. Don't forget, yeah, you know. Also, I would like to thank Rosemary Conway and Susan Shodall. Give them a big round of applause. They were my greeters, and I really do appreciate you all doing that very much. So, okay.
Thank you, Trish.
See, that was fun.
Yeah. Trish gets to take over next month. Okay. Now we're going to do the thought for the month. And this month we're doing a little different. We are having our speech track winner give her speech, and that's going to be the thought for the month. And I think it will be very thoughtful.
Well, thank you, Madam President. Well, good evening. It gives me a great deal of pleasure as your speech track chair to introduce our branch first place winner, Brianna Tong. Brianna is a sophomore at Citrus Valley High School. She's our fifth speech track winner from our branch. She will present her 5 to 6 minute speech on a 2-part title given by AAUW California. Has the United States lived up to its pledge of liberty and justice for all? The second part would requiring the study of diversity, equity, and inclusion in a high school setting help ensure liberty and justice for all. Please welcome our winner this year, Brianna Tong.
Are you okay with that one, or do you want it? You know what, Les? Because you're it's shiny. Oh, yeah. So can I just turn the cover? That's worse.
You're good. You can do it.
Okay.
This is a significant occasion in U.S. history. August 18, 1920, the 19th Amendment was ratified by Congress, guaranteeing all American women the right to vote. This has been a difficult milestone to reach, folks, taking years of protest and agitation. Racial barriers are officially breaking as of today. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 has been passed, and the Jim Crow laws are officially abolished. It has been about a year since a massive group of civil rights activists gathered around the Lincoln Memorial to listen to Martin Luther King Jr.'s moving speech about a dream world where civil and economic rights are prevalent and racism comes to an end. This world, which we are beginning to build, starting today. This just in, the first legal same-sex marriage ceremony in the United States happened today, February 12, 2004, between Del Martin and Phyllis Leon, when Mayor Gavin Newsom of San Francisco issued marriage license to same-sex couples. This could lead to same-sex marriage being legalized in all 50 states. Established on July 4, 1776, the United States has grown to become a leading world power in economics, industrialization, and radical ideas. The notion of liberty and justice for all and the success of that powerful statement has continuously changed throughout the years. Our ideas of equality for all have not been perfect, but we have made many monumentous improvements along our journey as a country because we had a dream. We were able to see past prejudice, and we were able to catalyze a movement. In the past century, the United States has been one of the first countries that established women's suffrage, abolished segregation laws, and legalized same-sex marriage. The idea of liberty and justice for all has, again, not been perfect, but it's something that we are still working on as a country and something that we are continuously improving. When asked if the United States has lived up to its pledge of liberty and justice for all, I would say that we have made immense progress. However, there is no all. Prejudice exists. The truth is, racism, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, transphobia, homophobia, and gender pay disparity exist in America. It still exists today. We've seen this with the recent Black Lives Matter movement, along with the rise of Asian hate. The Black Lives Matter movement was sparked due to the murder of George Floyd, a 46-year-old Black man held in police custody. And with 2020 and the rise of COVID-19, sadly, individuals are always looking for a scapegoat and somebody to blame, such as China during this pandemic. Prejudice is something that we are born with, And we are always inclined to think of ourselves first or believe that we are superior. Thus, in an effort to bring us a step closer to liberty and justice for all, the United States should require the study of diversity, equity, and inclusion in a high school setting. In fact, we have already started adding this into our curriculum. According to edsource.org, Governor Gavin Newsom signed legislation on October 8, 2021, making California the first state to require a semester-long course of ethnic studies in order to earn a high school diploma. However, this mandate will not take effect until the graduating class of 2029. So it also only includes the studies of only a few ethnic groups, and it doesn't include other salient topics such as sexual orientation. If we were able to include more studies and topics that are based on equity and inclusion, we would be able to promote more liberty and justice for all. In fact, the high school students are going to shape society because they're the newest generation. And what they go into adulthood with is what they're exposed to and what they see during their high school years. So if we were able to include the study of diversity, equity, and inclusion in a high school setting, we would be more likely to promote more liberty and justice for all. The United States has done a great job with its pledge of liberty and justice for all, but the journey is still very long, for there's a lot left to accomplish. So if we as the United States start encouraging the education of inclusion and justice for all at an adolescent age, those kids can grow up and bring into adulthood the deeper understanding of equality and justice for all. The famed American promise of liberty and justice for all has made immense progress, and we have done so much in our time as a country. However, there is still a lot left to do, and it's something that we are still pursuing and something that we are still working on together as a country. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Brianna. Next on the agenda, Eileen, are you going to present the certificates for years of continuous membership? Is that your? Yeah, well, you're on.
Excuse my lovely holder, Spencer. I have to find the right thing to put these in. Amy's going to help me give these out. I was doing these with yesterday. Can you hear me okay? Is that good? I'm sorry, is that better? Right there? Okay, good. Good, thank you. My granddaughter was helping me put these together yesterday, and she was saying, what is this AAUW thing? And I thought, oh, Leah, let me tell you, this is an organization that you want to end up joining once you're done with your college education. She's 16. So we had a great discussion. And as I went through all these certificates and looked at the names and the years of service that you have provided for this organization, it's part of the reason that I wanted to join. So know how proud we are to have you here and to celebrate you tonight and to give you your certificate with your membership pin for years of continuous membership. I will call your name if you'll come up. Amy will give you the paddle, whatever they're called, the sign. to hold for each category. And if I miss anybody who is here tonight, please let me know, because I brought the pins and the certificates that belong to the people who weren't on the list as of coming tonight. We think we have just about every one of you. But when I call your name, if you'd come forward, please, we'll present you with this. We'll start with our 5-year honorees. Judy Adams is the first one. Is Judy here? Oh, good. Hi, Judy. Yay. Oh, lovely lady, Rosemary Conway. Oh, my dear friend, Sue Ferguson. Okay, if you would come across the stage, we'll have you stand up here. Yeah, and then their certificate, and then just come across. We're going to line up. You'll start that way. Yeah. As I was sitting here eating my dinner tonight, I thought we should start with the people who've been in here the longest. They really do deserve to go first, but I won't break tradition. Beverly Wolverton. Are you here? Oh. Shelley Bodnar. Have I seen Shelley? Oh, good. Yay. Hazel Curtis. One of my favorite names, Hazel. Am I going too fast? There you go. Great. Mercedes Gifford. Miss Mercedes here? There she is. Cassie McDuff. Pam Ford. Pam, are you here? There she is. Susan Miller. Did I see Susan come in? Okay, I didn't think I saw her. And then the last of our 5-year is Yvette Guidry. Is that how you say that? Your last name? Is Yvette here? No? Okay. We will now move into our 10-year. Yeah. Oh, that's very cute. I love that. Yay. Now we'll move into our 10 years of continuous membership. Sue Wallace is our first. Pardon? If you would just stay there. Yeah, we want to get everybody. So please, sorry. That's what I said. Did you? We have a wide lens, so good. Sue Wallace is first. She gets a sign. And then Catherine Brown, wonderful member, there as they all are. One of my dear friends, Catherine Gifford, is here for her 10-year pin. Catherine's here. I spoke with her earlier. Yeah, it should say the year at the bottom. I really apologize for not being able to have this name correct yet, the last name, but Heather. Yes, thank you. Heather, I apologize. Next month, I'm going to have my membership pin and your name correct.
Don't worry, even I have always pronounced it correctly.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Alrighty, that's our 10-year group. We're going to move on to our 15 now. Marie Mitchell, please join us on the stage for your 15-year pin. And next is Susan Shodall. I saw Susan. She was a greeter. There she is. Oh, I'm sorry. Susan, you're 15 years. Oh, I'm sorry. You're the only 10-year that's here tonight. Oh, we're in 15. I'm sorry. See, I'm not very good at this. This is my first time doing it. So you're 15 years. You are. And so is Susan. I'm sorry. And so is Jessie Powell, who's here tonight. Yay. And so is our lovely Patty Ahern. She just helped me out so much with this tonight. Patty. Okay, look at that. So glad everybody's here. 20 years of continuous membership. Are we doing okay? Everybody all right? Don't want anybody falling off the stage. Okay, 20 years. Margie Galligan. Is Margie here? Yes. Another lovely lady, Trudy Waldron, 20 years. Trudy, there you are. A dear friend that I began teaching with and retired with, Teresa Lance. We are, yes, yeah. And we can walk and talk, not too well sometimes, but we're doing it. Dorothy Nordquist, 20 years. Yay, Dorothy. Okay, we're moving on to our 25-year group. 25 years of continuous membership. That's amazing. Kathy Presnell Best. Kathy, I was told you're here. Is Kathy not here? Oh, there she is. I even said hello to you earlier. Yay. Yes, and we're going to have Kathleen Albrexton join you with 25 years of continuous. You might want to start going across the front. I had to explain to my granddaughter why, as we got into more years, the numbers of people were getting smaller. So it has to do with getting older. You got it? We just have a couple more. Okay, joining these wonderful group of 25-year members is our wonderful Kay Dauberton. 25 years of service, continuous. I don't know what I would do without Kay. I'll tell you this lady. Yes, that's a great, yes, very true. And then we're jumping to 35 years. Deborah Sibley, who is taking the pictures for us. Yes. Evelyn O'Prey is joining us with 35 years. Yeah, they don't. I'll explain that later. You ran out. No. Okay, I'm jumping to 45 years of continuous membership. Louise Schumann. Is Louise here? Oh, Louise. She's my bunco partner now. Yes, yeah. There you go. And there is a 50-year pin, and we do have a 50-year honoree this year. Who is it? Okay. Ellen Schoelenberg is receiving her 50-year pin, but she's unable to join us. We're going to frame it and get her daughter suggested framing her pin with a certificate and getting that to her. So we will be doing that. It's on its way. And then 55 years of continuous membership is the next category we're going to. We don't have a pin for over this. So Nelda Stuck receives a certificate. And we did 50 plus. So that's the sign she gets to hold. Yes. Yeah, Nelda, right in the middle, Nelda. There you go. A round of applause for these incredible women from 5 to 55 plus years. We just don't know what we'd do without you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Erica. Turn it back over to you.
Thank you, ladies. it's just amazing how many years you all have been members. I just want to say that there are a number of us who got our pins in past years. And so there are others who have been members for a long time also. Okay. Nerney, will you introduce the Nancy Owl Scholarship recipients?
Hello. We have three amazing women with us tonight. They're each going to present about a 3 to 4 minute kind of scenario, talk about what they're doing, what their plans are. But for those of you that are guests, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Nancy Owl Memorial Scholarship. It's a local scholarship in honor of a former member of AAUW. And it's designed to fill a gap, and the recipients can spend it any way they choose to, right? I know Catherine Brown talked about the AAUW fund and how the funds are not restricted, that they can use it for money, use the monies for things that they need it for. And the same is true for here. So tonight we have a check for each of these to spend as they need to, that they feel is the best way to support their education. And it's intended for women who, for some reason or another, have had a break in their education. So whether they didn't go on after high school, or they started school, or they transferred a lot and then had a break there, or it's for women who maybe got their bachelor's and then went on to a postdoc. It's for women who can either be getting an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or a postgraduate degree. The award amount is $1,000 for an associate's and $2,000 for a bachelor's or above. Tonight we have three, and I know since this is my third year, and we've done one scholarship, 2 scholarships, and when the committee met, we just couldn't decide. We had all 3 of these candidates were very worthy and receiving, and you're nodding your head. We had quite a heated debate about whether we could give 3 scholarships, so we just decided yes, we can. So we did. And we have 2 associates to transfer. And what that means that their associate's degree, they get an associate's degree, but they've completed the requirements to transfer to a UC school. And I'll let them tell those stories. And then we have one woman who's graduating with her bachelor's this spring. She also just gave birth to a brand new baby who's like less than a week old. So I'm very glad that she's here. We're going to start with our first recipient, who you should recognize. Everyone asked me all year, how's Cynthia doing? How's Cynthia doing? And I really didn't know. And when I reached out to her to apply again, because all of you were like, she is applying again, right? She did. And so Cynthia De Los Santos is here to give us an update on what she's doing. And I know that you remember her story from last year, where she really made a huge difference in the quality of her course of study. But I will let her tell you what's next and where she's going from here.
I'm back. Just kidding. So the last time that I saw you, I had enrolled in a NASA academic workforce training called NCOS. And I was selected. I was top 90. I had a score of 95. I was called back for the summer. I did a summer Bitcoin internship as a mathematician student for my school, Valley College. Crafton College. And then I did a program called L-Space with NASA, which is also workforce training, where I was the business lead and materials engineer. And then I went to my first conference in San Diego for a week for aerospace. Oh yeah, I'm an aerospace engineer major, physics and math major. And I was just selected to go to MIT this summer. Well, I will be working on the Hera telescope with Dr. Kern and Dr. Hewitt. And it's being built in South Africa. I will be doing data analysis, and I will be trained in Python. So, and then I had to decline NASA internship for the Lucy internship from L-Space, but they're saving it for next year. So next year, just to let you know, I will be at ASU for the summer. So, okay. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I don't know how to.
But she just kind of skipped over that really significant fact. She's aerospace engineering, physics, and math.
Yeah.
Triple majoring. She's going places, and we're going to be excited that we are supporting the STEM education of middle school girls, because this is who they become, right? So she has a check and a certificate, although she has lots of certificates now. This one might get shoved in a drawer, but she does have a certificate and a check for her scholarship. And so excited to see what's coming up.
And I'm part of DSPS, which means I have a learning disability, and I'm not a traditional student. I'm 35 and have 2 kids. So anything is possible.
It's true.
Thank you.
Our next recipient is Samantha Mcvay, and I was so excited when we saw her application come through again. She had applied last year, and we had just lots of really qualified candidates, and we're not able to select all of them. And so when I saw her application come through again this time, I was really excited, because she had been one of those that we were like, you know, who are we going to pick? And so it was excited to have her here. She is going into education, and I told her we have tons of educators in the room and are available to mentor with her and chat with her. So she's going to tell you her story. Samantha Mcvay.
I can see myself. That's me. Hi guys, my name is Samantha Mcvay. Let's see. I wrote an application for this, and I'm very grateful that it got accepted for the scholarship. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air, you know. I want to be a teacher. I want to teach biology. I started out at El Camino, and I had to withdraw from all my classes because of mental illness, woo. And then I went to West Los Angeles College, and I did really well there. You know, had a little moment again, but I met Dr. Vered Murmovich, and she's a biology professor. And she said she started when she was 26 years old, and I'm 22, but hearing that, I was like, I can do this. I can be a biology professor someday. And then I went over to Crafton Hills, where I'm at now, and I'm almost done. I have 2 semesters left, and I have the hard ones left. I got chemistry and physics, but I'm gonna get there. I want a master's degree someday. I want a PhD someday. It's gonna take time, but you know, people like you in this room make that much easier, and the support, the overwhelming support. I'm a nanny, and I take care of 3 boys. They're 8, 5, and a year and a half old. And I see them, and I'm like, I want to teach guys like you someday. And if I finish fast enough, I'll be able to. But so, yeah, it's you know, it's kids that I want to impact someday, and it doesn't matter what age they are, but I want to help people just like I've been helped. So, thank you.
So just in case you didn't notice, that's the second STEM recipient that we have.
Thank you.
And our final, Laura Cotter, she's graduating this spring from Cal State San Bernardino. It's very exciting. She is our 3rd STEM recipient, and I'm going to have her tell you, we were all fascinated by her research. She has what seems to be really graduate level research rather than bachelor level undergrad research. And I was quite impressed with the extent of it. And while she's not going to do a doctoral dissertation presentation, she's going to tell us a little bit about her research. And so please welcome Laura Cotter.
Thank you so much for having me and for selecting me for this scholarship. I prepared a clever little PowerPoint, which I assure you is full of funny pictures and anecdotes, but I'm just going to use it for cues because that's what we're going to use it for. So a little bit about me. I'm 37. I am the mother of 6 children, ages 14 to 6 days old. And I am a biopsych neuroscience major at Cal State San Bernardino. I do biomedical pharmacological research for Cal State. And I am a URISE National Scholar, which is a program that helps students that are part of underrepresented or marginalized communities, such as women and other communities that want to partake in research and are planning on earning a PhD. I took a hiatus from school from 2007 to 2017 because I had 5 other children and I took time to just be a mom and do the school thing. And my grandma passed, and she, like my mother, was a very strong woman. And I wanted to make her proud, and we knew she was going to pass. So it was really important to me to show her that I was going to be back in school and she didn't have to worry about me because I was going to still go places. I graduated from Valley College with honors with my second AA in psych in 2019. I started CSU 2019 fall. I was on the dean's list with 4.0 for 4 quarters. And I was accepted in the URISE program during the midst of the pandemic, right at the beginning. Thankfully, they considered us essential workers, so I got to work right away. We work particularly in studying the addiction mechanisms in the brain, particularly the serotonin 5-HT receptors. We study on lab rats, and eventually our research is probably going to help develop new treatments, new medications, and new diagnostic measures for people suffering from addiction and mental illness. My future plans are to graduate this summer. I have to do summer school, and they do not give us aid for summer school. So this scholarship is going to come crazy in handy because I have to pay tuition and textbooks. So thank you again for that. I then plan to take a little gap year to raise my baby, to take the GREs, and to apply to as many grad schools as possible. And potentially a few of those that I've already planned on applying for are UCR, UC Irvine, Loma Linda, and UC Merced. I want to pursue my PhD in pharmacology, neuroscience, or clinical psych, but really pharmacology is what I love. I love research, and I would love to continue being involved in research for the rest of my life. And it's too bad you can't see because I have pictures of me doing science, as my kids say, mom's doing science. So thank you so much for selecting me. And this is amazingly helpful. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Oh, can I? Okay. I'll try to show these pictures on the camera, if that's okay. Okay.
Show the doing science part.
This is me with my little friend in the lab. These are my older children. And here's my baby, the first day she got out of the hospital. And here's just more science. That was unofficial take your kids to work day because their dad overslept and didn't show up. So we took him to work. But yes, those are my features. Thank you so much, everyone.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
So I think when we decided to give 3 scholarships, we kind of hit the trifecta with all 3 of these women. And then the fact that all 3 of them, just coincidentally, if they had been a history major or business, it wouldn't have mattered. But I feel like with the emphasis that we have on STEM education for young women, this is just a lovely little bookend to those efforts as well. So thank you.
Steve, yes. So I can get this changed. I just learned this on YouTube, so I don't guarantee anything. I did. Well, no, not the whole thing. I'm in print. Hey. Okay.
One more.
Okay. I think you can just go do the back arrow.
I tried that. I did.
Yeah, but click on the, use that.
You may have to start with 2. I don't seem to know how to get back to 1. Okay.
Escape and then you can go back and then go back here.
Oh.
And then go back there.
I-
There you go. And then you can go to either present or from the beginning view. Look at it.
All right.
And
And
I
now,
think this works. Yeah, and here's your clicker.
okay. Martha, would you like to introduce our speaker?
Thank you very much tonight. I'm very pleased to introduce Steve Stockton, who's the president of the Redlands Historical Museum Association and the leader of the current construction of the Museum of Redlands, or the MOR, if they say, corner of let's see, that's Brockton and Center Street. Brookside, I'm sorry. Until I'm not a native. Steve has his roots in Redlands. It's my first opportunity to meet him, but I know that so many people recognize him and knew him today, and has his roots in Redlands, where he went to school and raised his family. He proudly proclaims that his grandsons are fourth generation Redlanders. So he received his degree in management from the U of R, and he is a registered civil engineer who worked for 3 different water companies, districts, until he retired after 41 years. He retired from the San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency that brings water from Northern California down to Beaumont and Banning. And he did that since he retired in 2005. He has served in several service organizations in the community in many roles. He's such as the Kiwanis Club, the YMCA board member, and he's a local member of the City of Redlands Utilities and Public Works Commission, using his expertise from years of service. Steve received the Redlands Man of the Year Award from the Redlands Chamber of Commerce just this last month in April. And everything. Congratulations, Steve, on that. That's a real honor and everything. And that's the first time it was given after 2 years, I believe. So because of COVID and everything. He has served on the RHMA Museum Board since 2006, serving 2 terms as president. And he's concurrently leading the current construction project for the MOR, Museum of Redlands. Steve has planned an overview tonight of the project and of their future plans. And the title of his is From the Beginning to the Present. And as you can see, he promised lots of slides to keep it very interesting and right on target. So thank you very much, Steve.
Well, I guess I need a combination for this. So I like to use a hand mic.
Is it on the bottom?
There, now can you hear? Let's go warming up. There we go. There we go. All right, let me get the clicker going here. All this stuff here. And I'm gonna, I hate kind of stand up here because I want to have some eye contact with you, and I can't do that working the thing. So I'm working the computer from here. So I'll try to make this personal to get you a feel of where we are in the museum. And I titled this kind of beginning to the end. We're very close to the end now, but we need to do some more work to get to that point. Let's see here.
Yes.
This is coming. This is the most trying part. I've done a lot of these things, and this first 5 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes is the most trying in the whole process. So I saw somebody using it, maybe. Which one is it?
It's supposed to be the arrow.
The arrow?
Excuse me.
But maybe you've got to aim it at the flap.
I don't know. There you go.
Okay, maybe we're gonna have to stay here. Okay, let's get started here. This organization started in 2000 with one of your own, Nelda Stuck. Give her lots of kudos for putting this together in the first place back in 2000, along with Liz Begwood, who's back on our board now. And the city council said, yeah, Liz and Nelda, go ahead, yeah, you can have a museum. And I think they just sort of blew them off, actually. And said, and one of these days you'll get this building, the old City Hall building that I worked in for a number of years at Vine and Cajon. And as we've come a long ways from that point, this building would have been too small and it was needed a lot of retrofitting, et cetera. So, but that was the beginning. That was going to be a Museum of Redlands. In fact, there was a sign there at one time called out for the Museum of Redlands. But that didn't work out, and the police department moved in there. Remember, they moved out of this building into the building over there, where they are. And actually, I like this building, and some other people really like this location there at Eureka and Brookside. Very high visibility thing. But others at the council level thought this was too valuable property to be used for a museum. I mean, what kind of revenue is it for this? So now it's just a pile of dirt, as you can see. So then the next one that Clara Clem was involved in, and she was on the board during these years, had the post office lined up. If you remember, some years ago, the post offices were going to be closed all over town, all over the country. And this was one of them that was on the chopping block. According to Clara, at one time, we were within 30 days of having this building for the Museum of Redlands. So we started looking around and how does this work? It was very constrained from parking, et cetera. Good location, kind of had the look of Redlands, all the stuff there. But in the end, the post office couldn't decide what to do. So that didn't work out. So then we ended up at this building. This is one of the very early pictures of the construction back in December of 20. And you see the old Fax building. Those who were in that building, you can see the skylight that was in there, and we've actually enhanced that. You'll see some pictures about it in a minute here. They were starting the grading and the demolition at this point, tear down all the asphalt, et cetera. This is a great picture. It was taken by Jim O'Neill. He's quite the drone pilot guy, and he's done several other flights for it. But this is what we started with after Clara ran across this property being for sale. It had the Fax building in it. You know, the Fax was in that. They moved out and were unloading the building. Clara says, I'll get that building for you. And she put up $1 million right on the spot to buy this building. And that was the beginning of where we are now. And in the meantime, we had another benefactor, Tim Rosford, maybe a lot of you know him. He bought the lot immediately. It would be in the foreground there. And we got some pictures of what we've turned that into. So we started out with this, kind of a big mess. Oops. But we went going to this same location. You see the skylight there in the middle. Brookside along the lower left there, Center Street on the lower right, and the two-story building beyond that. This was our first concept of that, and as you see later, a little later on, that we got, actually this is turning out very close to that, this vision that we had in the meantime. So after we got the lot and the building, all of a sudden we're landlords. Man, that comes with a whole mess of problems with a building that was 60 years old. It had lots of going for it. The architects looked at that and said, the bones in this building are great, and we can rehab it rather than tear it down. And during the construction, some said probably should have torn it down. We ran into problems, things that didn't work out, things were where we thought they were, all those kind of things. But we hung in there, and we've got some interesting things when you see the building finished that worked out quite well. So we hired an architect. We put out bids. We had I invited actually 2 people from Redlands, only 1 submitted, and 2 other proposals from architects out of town. We hired a firm called Johnson Favreau. They're out of Culver City. They've done the new library in Riverside. We've been following that. Same architect. And they said some things during the selection process that rings true with me today that I keep bringing forward when I come to groups like this. He says, and they did some research on the town. They knew about the philanthropy of what the town had done over the years, what Smileys and Watchhorns, et cetera, had done all this time. So he could see that there was a place for a first-class museum in this town. And he said to the board, and this is what sold me, I want to take you where I don't think you can, where you think you can't go. And what a challenge to the board to build something special. And we've carried that with us in the meantime. Here's another view of the same building. They're looking at the other end of the building. You see the vacant lot that we've visioned now as a events garden and events building there in the center at the bottom there. And that'll hold about 50 or 60 people. You could probably have this organization probably meet in that building at some point. It's got lots of flexibility into that. The large brown structure on the left or the right there was something else that Clara really liked. And it's controversial. And even Tom Ashley said, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And we said, okay, thank you. You're really playing into our hand because we want something that everybody will talk about. And if you're all you football people, many years ago when Howard Cosell was doing Monday Night Football, nobody liked Howard Cosell, but guess what? You tuned in every Monday night to make sure you still hate him. Okay, well, that's a little bit where this is. And so we have stuck with this. This is very close to exactly what we're going to, you're going to see here as we get to the actual construction photographs. And Claire says, I don't want people to go by this building and say, what is that? What is that? I've got to go in there and find out what's going on. And it's not a building with columns and ivy and red tile roofs. So we set that out as a kind of a challenge to us to go forward. There we go. Okay, so here's another view of that thing. This is a very recent picture. It was taken by Nolan's husband, Monty, of the events garden. This is a real picture now. This is not a rendering. Okay, that's what you saw in the previous pictures, what it was going to look like. This is what it does look like. Those trees are real. When we planted them about a month or 6 weeks ago, they were bare trees, just a bunch of twigs that have all leafed out there. A little artistic art that Monty added the grass there. The grass isn't there, mostly because we haven't got around to planting yet, but that will be grass, we turf there. And that's a great venue for outside events for the whole town. Here's another view of that same thing. You see the square building beyond there, and there's the room that's straight beyond there. You see the people in there. That can hold about 60 to 70 people for all kinds of events. And we can seat with tables in this event garden up to 300 people. So it could be all sorts of town events or weddings or whatever. So it becomes part of the whole vision of this is the living room of Redlands. That was one of our mottos. That I think Sharp Burgess and maybe Delaware members who came up with that. Anyway, it was the living room of Redlands. One of the things that fits what we're trying to do. This is terrible tonight. Well, help.
You want to go to the one after that building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Just want to go here, this one?
go to this one, yeah.
And then. There you go. Is that right? I know. There you go.
There we go. There we go. Okay, this is another view of the website. You see the building we've got pretty well screened on the beyond that shrubbery there. And this is actually a parking place for food trucks. So instead of putting in a kitchen, designed a place to bring food trucks in if you want to have an event in the lawn area there. Or they could be caterers bringing food in and serve it out of the kitchen. There's a warming kitchen in that square building we saw there earlier, and those will grow up the screen off that. And beyond, you can see the mountains of course, that's looking towards Cajon Pass. Another view of that same thing. These oak tree on the right here came from Larry Jacinto's. Everybody know about Larry Jacinto? He's got great big oak trees there. It took a 60-ton crane to set those in the ground. But we've got great big trees that look amazing already. There's a little walk that comes off of the Brookside. Okay, this is another view that you see the walk on the right there, and this is an exit out to the alley there, and then this is another entryway up to the events garden. You see the events building on the in the background there. You see also the trees that are in that area. This is the beginning of that origami thing that you saw earlier. That was in the renderings. You can see that it's coming along. This is a very recent picture, probably a week or so old, and it gets tile on. Remember, the color was very kind of a chocolate brown. Well, that gets tiled. The whole thing is tiled, and there'll be a stark contrast between the white of the top of the stucco on the building and this dark brown covering on the. You can see the glazing is in there on the front there. That's also a showcase that you'll be able to see. Here's on the inside looking out towards across Brookside. You see there, they're putting in the glass. This is has lights in it. So when you drive down Brookside at night, you'll be able to see artifacts in that building. We'll have a little QR code in the window there. Go up there and hold your phone up that to find out a little bit about what the art device or pieces in the building. This is the other end of the building there. This was probably 10 days old now. You can see it's pretty ugly looking there because of the scaffolding that's up there. They're finishing the white plaster in that. We're getting ready to take that out. You see the bales there that the material came in. And also the papers, you'll see the beige stuff in the foreground and also on the left there are also very permeable that allow water to go through the bricks and the head joints. That's the area between the bricks. So there's about 1/4 of an inch or a little more between the bricks. So it allows the water to go between the bricks back into the underground system. So it's a groundwater recharge facility, if you want to look at it like that. So there's very little runoff off the site itself. Here's what it looks like on the inside. You see the workers there putting on the stucco. And here it is at night. These are like 3 days old, these pictures here. We've managed to get the lights on. It's not fully operational yet, but we did get the lights on. That's looking at the east end of the building with the scaffolding down. So you can see this great thing there. Here again, these are Monty's pictures. Actually, I ran into Monty and Elda both there. The second night it was out. It's kind of funny. I thought they were breaking in, and they thought we were breaking in. So anyway, we finally got together and got these pictures going. Here's the one on the building on the south side, and you see the 3-dimensional stuff on there. That's an interesting story too about with the architect. He kind of knows, if you know Jack Benjamin, he's partial to sycamore trees. And the sycamore leaves are very irregular, and he thought they would be great sculptures on the side of the building with the shadows you see there. But the board didn't like that. This is an orange grove. We want orange trees on it. So that's what we ended up with there. And it worked out fine. And that's a piece of styrofoam that's been glued on. And they cut that out of great big sheets of plywood or stuffed styrofoam and glue it on the side of the wall. And then they plaster over that. That's how they get the depth that you see on the screen here. This is on the inside. This is structure there now. This will be the museum store, and it's kind of got the frames, and it looks like this one's finished. This is the rendering now. We're kind of switching back and forth. I'm tricking you to try to keep you figuring out what's going on. Anyway, this is what the museum store looks like on the inside. These are renderings here now. This is the inside of that. This is polished concrete there. If you've been in places like Costco or Home Depot, the in flooring now is polished concrete. And it's very glossy and it's very easy to take care of, as you can imagine. That's what you see there. And this is one of the galleries. Another one, this is looking to the west there. You see through that door on the left there, goes out the event garden. Remember, we've been to the event garden, so you can see what that looks like. And so when you go to a function there, you can come in on the east side, walk through the museum, right down this corridor and out the side there to the event garden. And one of the things that this guy right here wanted is no stairs. Okay, so guess what? We had to pull in 6 feet of dirt in that vacant lot there to make it. So when you get out of your car on the east side, walk all the way through the building, out to the grass, and you've gone through, there are no stairs in that area. So we did that on purpose. That cost money to do that, but we wanted to make it as easy to use as possible. So those kind of things that we put in the museum. Another one, this is the skylight that was in the old building. We made it bigger than it was now. This will have 3 different types of shades on it. Some artifacts, are very sensitive to light, so we can black that out completely, or we can have it translucent if you just want light, but not direct light, or open like you see in this picture. Here's another view looking, this is a current picture now, looking out from the inside through the door on the west side, and you can see the trees and stuff on the west side there, through that opening there. The doors, there's some of those that are going in now, and I just get excited. How can you get excited about a door? Maybe only engineers can do that. But it's a very heavy, thick glass door that's frameless, and you push on it, it just moves easily because the hinges are very nice. It's well balanced, even though it's a big door, and they're clear. You can see obviously through this clear glass, and that's the kind of door that will be on this side also. Here's another view of the west side there, up above the pavilion area there. The sculpture there on the right is the one you saw in that earlier picture, and then the sculpture goes on around the building there that are bathing that west wall in light that you see there. Anyway, it's a pretty, these pictures don't do it really justice. You need to, maybe on your way home tonight, drive by Brookside and Center, and you can see that. So it's very striking, even in my mind. Okay, that's all I got to say. So now I want to do the best part. Let's have questions now. This is the Q&A part. I love doing this part. And it's taken me 40 years to get to the point where somebody asks me a question that I can't answer. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. When I was 25, I thought I'd die if somebody asked my question. So here we go, right here in front.
So there's a lot of Redlands history. How is the collection being curated?
Okay, we just had a meeting about that today. The library is in charge of that. The museum, the more people are building this thing, that's where I come in. And then we will turn it over to the city. And it comes actually structurally within the city. You have a library board, Bill Hatfield et al. And they also run the Lincoln Shrine. And then as a opposite of that would be the museum. So we both report to the library board. There's over 3,000 items in the collection already. Somebody said, well, what are you going to put in this thing? It's an empty building. Well, that's because the stuff is all over town, including in the basement of the library. So there's a lot of stuff to do that. We're now working out what does this need to be? What kind of exhibits will we open with? One of them is Jack Brown's Hometown Heroes. I don't know if you know about Jack's Hometown Heroes. Okay, he gives a big chunk of money to have a fit place for his memorabilia. So that will be in the opening thing. And then we'll probably also do a piece on Orange Grove. That's kind of the other big thing. And there's lots of things that we had a big discussion about traveling exhibits too. There's a lot of those out there that some take, 4,000 square feet. They come with a price. Some of them, there'll be chances like for you people here to sponsor a traveling exhibit. And there's lots of opportunities for giving money. Anyway, that's one of the things here. Right here.
I just wondered, I didn't see any solar panels. Are you going to put solar?
Yes, the building, actually, it's a code requirement. The building comes wired, or actually not so much wired, but conduits between the roof and where the electrical equipment is. So that's the expensive part of retrofitting that. So it's kind of pre-plumbed, if you will, for solar. Good question. Now, this is loaded now, so listen carefully.
I know you're going to talk about it, but tell this group how everyone in this room can support the museum by what we're doing.
Okay, we'll get to the end, we'll do that. That's good. Here.
I was just wondering, I assume there will be an admission fee to get into the museum?
No, not normally. Normally it will be free. There could be times when we have traveling exhibits that there will be a fee because some of them cost $30,000 or $40,000 for rental on that. So we got to recover that some way. One of the other things that we learned today is that if let's say somebody wanted to sponsor a $40,000 event, a traveling exhibit for 6 or 8 weeks, whatever that is. The rules say that they'll pay you can pay them the $40,000, but you can't ask for admission if you do that. It has to be free. So for the most part, I think you'll find that these are free. Depends on how many big events we have. Some of them are obviously more expensive. The Smithsonian has a whole mess of those that are available. Some of them are booked up 5 years down the road. And it takes you 5 years to get them signed up. So more questions. This is good stuff. Oh, the corner back here.
Thank you, Steve, for this great presentation. And it sounds as though the city has been quite supportive, but are you able to share how much money the city has contributed to the museum?
Well, not as much as you might think. What you see out here right now is a $20 million facility. Lots of money. The city has contributed $1 million. Now I'm getting kind of callous to money because with money comes in $1 million chunks and we don't get too excited when you need 20. And we've raised over 3/4 of that with private money for people like you. So it's all private money that we've got to this point. We are talking with the city about how they might fit in. We haven't reached the deal yet. That becomes somewhat of a political issue, but we want to continue to make this living room Redlands a reality, and you can help us do that. So, any more questions, sir? Yeah, yes.
You talked about it being all on one level, stairs. I thought, well, that's wonderful for handicap accessibility.
Like me.
Then you said heavy glass door, and I said, oh, so are they automatic doors?
No, they are balanced so well that we just push on them a little bit and they move. That's the case for buying first class stuff. I mean, that's partly why it's so expensive because we spec that kind of stuff. So they move very easily.
So second question on a completely different subject. Parking. It didn't look like they were renting spaces.
There's actually more behind the building than you think. the rival court on the front side there along Center Street, kind of have cars, and we'll use the, excuse me, the kind of a Hollywood Bowls, where we have a big event, we'll just park cars, right on top of one another, kind of packed in there, like you did the Hollywood Bowl, how they pack it. We also have a parking agreement with the building next to us. It's got 40 additional spaces that we can use in the off business hours. So, question here?
I was just wondering, is there a way to earn money? I don't even remember what, but the block, you could buy a block and it would have your granddaughter's name on it or something.
Wonderful, she should ask that question. Okay, I'm saying at the end. I got these flyers right here. Okay, right here. You can buy them on our website, more.org, or you can take one of these. It shows you how to do that. They're $2,500 a piece. We've sold 125 or 30 of them already. You can get 2 or 3 lines, depends on what you want to say. They go, and I probably can't show you here this now, but you saw the grass in the pavilion area. Well, on either end of that grass, or one in front of the pavilion building, and then a little stage on the other side, there's an area that's about 6 feet wide and probably 30 feet long, where these tiles, if you will, they're about 9 by 16 size, and one kind of your name would be engraved in that, placed in the ground. So what we're going to do right now is that within the next month or so, we'll install all 400 pavers. Not all of them will have names on them. We've got 125 or so to engrave now, but you can take one of these and follow the Yellow Brick Road to buying one of these bricks. And it's a great memory for you or your loved ones or whoever. But that's we've got, like say, 125 of those sold already. So anyway, that's what Yala was talking about, how you can help. Or you can just send a check. We take checks too. We only take 7 place figures, so be careful. Okay, anything else? Please do. Thank you for taking me. I felt like I got a new group. I would tell some of you that somehow I'm not on your page. I just don't feel like I know very many of you. Some of you do, or may know me. But I'm really glad that you invited me to come because I feel we got our message out. And I hereby appoint you as ambassadors of the museum. So you need to go out and sell this to your neighbors and tell them there's a lot more to this than what they see driving by. Well, thank you again.
Escape, where's the escape key? Oh. Close the program. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can go through this business part of the meeting as fast as possible, okay? Old business, Luna Fest. Let me just remind everybody that Luna Fest is on May 13th and you can still get tickets. Go to, actually, if you go to our newsletter, there's a link on the newsletter that takes you to the company that you can buy the tickets for Luna Fest. And how much are the tickets? Where's Heather? 40. Okay. All right.
We need help for Luna Fest.
We need help?
Yeah, so if you're interested in serving at the table, checking people in as they come, contact me or Heather Abishona.
Did you hear that? If you want to help with the Luna Fest, contact either Sue Wallace or Heather Abushanat. Did I pronounce that correctly? Close enough. Okay. Membership renewal delayed. That was in the newsletter. Does somebody have information about that? Okay. Or
The website, the national website right now,
Okay, thank you. A reminder to vote both for the national election and for the state election. And again, you can get you just go to the national website and to the state website, but it's not a bad idea to vote, because then you get a say in what our national or state organizations are going to do. Okay, program committee. Martha, you want to make announcements about the program, upcoming programs and the committee?
Well, we're just going to be starting back. We used to have a program committee every year that set up the programs for the whole year in advance. I'd like to go back to that because it's a little hard when we're doing it month by month, or, but COVID changed a lot of things for us. So, I'd really like to have everybody's participation, because as you can see, great programs like tonight's, it takes all of us, the contacts that we have in the community, so the knowledgeable, somebody suggested him from from another place. And it's just, it takes all of us to do this. And I'd really like to start a program committee in sometime in May. We're going to be having either a Zoom meeting or in-person meeting, if we can do that, and just get ideas so we can lay out the calendar for the entire next year. And so please think about joining. I've already had several people who've said that they'd like to participate. And I really, really need your help for this. To make these, we want to make them interesting. We want to make them so that they're mission orientated for what we're trying to do. But at the same time, we want to have an enjoyable evening. And this, to me, this was fascinating tonight. It touched so many things of what's going on in the community and everything. So please think about it when we're going to be sending out the notices and everything, and just contact me. My number's in the book and my email address. So just get in touch with me, and I'd love to have you.
Thank you. Okay, I wanted to have somebody, maybe we don't have time, but how many of you went to the state convention, the online state convention? Okay. You want to just say a couple of words about what you thought was good about that or not good? Just a couple of words. Oh, right. Okay, you can do it now.
Okay, thank you. We tried to make the convention fun this year and took us to different lands, which means every different segment was a different approach to how they were proceeding. So for 2 sessions, they had about 20 different discussion groups that broke out, the Zoom sessions broke out. And so you could choose which one to start with, and then you could jump into any other discussion if that one didn't suit you at the time. Very well organized, very well managed. So the technology seemed to work for them, maybe a delay of a second or two, but all in all, the Zoom part was really exceptional, I thought. I don't remember the officers. I mean, I don't remember what the new officers, who they are, but that'll all be announced in the book or the memo that they send out.
Well, they haven't been elected yet.
Well, that's when the process of voting, that's correct, yes. So they all got introduced, and so that was interesting. I don't remember much about the future, that I don't. Do you recall anything about that? Okay, so neither one of us caught that very well. But it was an interesting approach and very well done, and it took 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours altogether with a half-hour break. So I've been to a convention before. This was easier. You didn't have to travel. You didn't have to spend money. So the Zoom approach is a good way to do that day, I think. It's interesting to me. Okay, so proceed. I'm part of a committee that is looking for branch materials, old branch materials, our old records. We're looking for I know there's a container that has all of our old yearbooks, for instance. Nobody knows where it is. We don't know where the memory books are that someone many years ago was putting together. So if anyone has a lead on that for me or can tell me where anything is, I'd appreciate it. I'm Sharon Beeler, by the way, and I'd appreciate the information. We've tried several people in the organization who we thought would be knowledgeable, and it seems we've lost track of some things. So we'd appreciate your assistance if you can think of the last person you know that had anything. Thank you.
Patty, you want to say just a couple words about the SCIBC meeting that we had? No?
For some of you who do not know, the SIBC is Southeast Interbranch Council. And there's 9 branches in our area that meet 3 times a year. And one of the times we met was 2 weeks ago, it was the 23rd. We usually meet the 5th Saturday, but guess what? The 5th Saturday was our annual meeting for the state of California for AAUW. So we met the week before, and we did have a speaker from National, Robin Lucas, and she was on Zoom, of course, because she lives in Washington, DC, and she really was a great speaker. She had a lot of information. And I think what people got so much out of was her question and answer session. People did not stop and hesitate. They wanted to know different things, and she came prepared. She really did. So it was something that you really needed to be there to see and enjoy. And guess what? It is recorded. It is. And Priya put it on our, I believe it's Facebook. And if you would like to go on to Facebook, you can find the Zoom link and you can see the whole hour and a half. And well, you can see part of it. You can
skip over to the question. and answer.
Yes, you can skip over some of it if you'd like. That's the beauty of Zoom recorded. So please look at it because you will learn something from Robin. She is very well informed. That's it.
Thank you. She is particularly informed about the DEI, part of the national program. So. And she talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion. You've got to those DEI. You've got to remember what that stands for because it's going to be a big part of our branch as well over the next couple of years. So
I think you should talk about this next one.
Okay.
And then just have people contact me if they want.
Okay. The next thing is on our list is the Juneteenth celebration. Now, Juneteenth, you probably all know by this time that Juneteenth is a celebration of the last group of slaves in Texas who learned that they had been freed. They learned about the proclamation, Emancipation Proclamation, thank you. And so it has become, especially over the last couple of years, it's become a very important celebration for African Americans. And this year, there's an organization whose name I'm blanking on. Do you remember? Better Together Now. That's what it's called, right? And they are putting on a Juneteenth celebration on June 19th at Sylvan Park. And they put out a request for people who wanted to set up booths or tables or vendors who wanted to sell things. And they're going to have music and food and games for kids. And we have applied to set up a table for AAUW that will have, our our tablecloth with our name on it. And hopefully somebody in our group has one of those pop-up shade things because I think we'll need that. We also need people to volunteer to, I was going to say man, to woman the table and to help us to serve on a committee. We've just started this. I mean, really, this has just been the last week that we've started this, that we put it in application. But we also need ideas for what we should include on that table that will present AAUW to a diverse group, because I think that this celebration is going to have a very diverse audience. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to expose ourselves, and I mean that positively, to a wide range of a diverse audience. So if anybody wants to help us with this, and I hope a lot of you will, please contact Trish Stubbs. She's going to be, is that just so they know who you are, or you have something to say? Okay, this is a great opportunity, and I hope everybody else feels as excited about it as I do. So anyway, are there any other interest groups or committees who want to make an announcement? Okay.
I'm still waiting on people for us to usher at the school this summer. We're going to do it one night. It's going to be July 8th. And we're for ballet, folklore, and that. Another 5 to 10 people signing up. So,
Did you hear that? July 8th? 8th.
Friday night.
Okay, and if you can volunteer to be an usher, Barbara Simmons' name is also in our book, and you can call her or email her or text her. So anybody else who has any announcements? No? Well, that's wonderful. So the meeting is adjourned.